and jump in and get started. I'm pumped for tonight. We've been thinking through kind of like what kind of things we want to share with you tonight. And kind of like I shared on the post earlier today, there's no like magic to like goal setting and vision board. The magic is this. It's doing it together. It's all coming together and dreaming big and then putting in that really unsexy work, as I like to call it, later down the road with our business activity tracker and inviting. So there's no magical thing that's going to happen tonight. I hope that you get some aha moments and maybe allow yourself to dream big, give yourself permission to dream big, because this business, the really, really cool thing about it is there is no cap how far you can go with this. Anyone who wants to, all of us can go as far as we want to. We can go to the top. It's not like a regular, you climb the corporate ladder and then you max out at earning this amount, or you can only make it to this managerial position. It's like, we can all go as high as we want to go. So give yourself permission to dream big tonight. What's the worst that is going to happen? Like that maybe you don't reach all the way to the top, but you're going to get right here. Like, don't be scared. Change that mindset right now. I always say, like when we're talking about Success Club or other goals, if you just get in a car, like you get into 2021 and you don't have a destination in end, then you're just going to wind up in the middle of nowhere. So that's kind of what we want this call to be. We want you to be working towards something that is going to benefit your life and change your life and your family's life or your future family's life. I've heard a lot of people say these last couple weeks on different training calls I've been on, that this essentially is the fifth quarter. And I've never heard that before, but I find it really interesting because they worded it. It's like that little part of the end of the year where everyone is like, I've done enough this year. I'm going to kick my feet up. I'm going to relax. I'm going to binge watch shows. It's Christmas. But like how crucial this part of the year is, because it's setting you up for everything. Once January 1st comes, you're not like, oh crap, like let me get everything together. It's like you're already going. So I just thought that was a really cool way to think about it and to put that CEO hat on us, not that employee mindset of, oh, well, when am I going to get time off again? When am I going to get to watch my shows? When am I going to get to do this and this? Like, that's not how a CEO thinks. A CEO thinks like, oh, what about this idea? Can I try this in my boot camp? Oh, scratch that. That was awful. Let me try this in my post. Oh, scratch that. That was not good. Let me try this. That kind of work. Let me try it better. Like, that's what CEOs this time of year are doing. Like, it's Christmas. It's the holiday season. There's no CEO whose business is rocking who is just like binge watching TV and like taking time off. So I really want you to like put that CEO hat on tonight, not that employee mindset of like, well, Brooke will take care of it, or Dana will take care of it, or Cassie will do this for us and run a coach sneak peek. Like, you are your own boss, so act like it. And like, there's a lot of ladies on this call, and I assume if you're on this call, you want to be your own boss. You don't want to work for someone else, or even if you do want to work for someone else, you want freedom in another area. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to pass it on to Dana, because she has a really awesome activity that we're going to get started with. So go ahead, Dana.
Okay. So yes to everything she said. She really just set up exactly what I wanted to start leading you guys through. So this first activity is exactly that. It's just this idea of dreaming without boundaries. I'll tell you what the activity is, but first I just kind of want to set it up for you. I want to encourage you when we walk through this activity to just feel it. We're going to talk about, if you could have anything, if you could remove your doubts, if you could remove all of your fears, if you could remove all of your limiting beliefs, or maybe you're like me and you're a realist. And so you struggle to dream really big because that could just never happen. Like, that's not even realistic. In our family, my husband, we used to joke, he was always the dreamer. He had all these really big dreams. And I was like, yeah, no. I used to joke, like, do you just want to like go be Amish or something? Because his dreams were like, if that was a bad joke. If you know him, then you probably get the joke. But if you don't, then it's a bad joke. But anyway, he was always the dreamer. I was the realist. But for this activity, doing this, I started this about a year ago. it really changed my business, which is changing my life. Really, like, for me, I was thinking about this right before we hopped on this call, and I won't touch too much on this, but I think that this is important for myself and maybe some of you here too. I want you to surrender this. Take your fears away, take your doubts away, take your limiting beliefs away, because those are very like earthly thoughts. Because I felt like almost greedy before I actually hopped on. And I started having those fears and doubts about what I wanted to share with you guys today. But then I realized, like, no, this is simply me surrendering what I believe was possible, but opening up to a world of possibility. So, what we're going to talk about today is I want you to think about what your dream day would look like. This could be 2 years from now. This could be 5 years from now. I don't really care when it is. I want to be specific. I want you to feel it. Like I said, it's not just about, oh, I want this house. I want to be doing this job. I want to be driving this car. Like those, I want you to like really dig in to what that's going to feel like for you. Like feel, that's the word as I walked around the house practicing this today. It's just kept coming to my mind was like, I feel it when I read my vision and like speak it out loud. It's not just something I want. It's something that I fully feel like inside of me. So I'm going to, if you want to close your eyes, I'm going to kind of give you my example that if I could take everything away, what mine would be. But I want you to not just envision mine, but think about what you want for you. And I think that that's so important. I was sharing with Kelsey, if you're an Enneagram person, I'm a 3 and I wanted to really please you guys today. And I almost changed what I shared in my vision because I'm like, that might not be relatable to everybody. But I'm not changing it because this is my vision for my perfect day. So I want you to think about your vision for your perfect day. So my vision for my perfect day. So if you want to close your eyes for this part and like think about yours, or you can just listen to mine. This is part, I wasn't really sure how to navigate this, but is it's August. A matter of fact, it's the very last week in August. And there's a really specific reason for that, because the last week of August is my least favorite week of the year for the last 10 years. The last week of August is the week that awesome, my kids go back to school and all 4 of them are going to school. But my husband, he goes to school too. He goes to a job that he likes and he's honestly really, really good at, but it's not his dream. It's a job that we have sacrificed so that we can provide for our family. So it's the last week in August and it's a Monday morning because I love Mondays, but he doesn't have to go to school on my dream day. We don't wake up like that. I wake up to my alarm and I wake up in a home that's my dream home. And I wanted to touch on this part because this was part of my vision all year long. And that was like really unrealistic to me because that was like a 10-year plan. But I surrendered that. And, you know, a house fire really sucks, but I will end up in this home that I'm picturing sooner than later because I had surrendered that long before. And that's why this has been so easy for me to navigate because I have envisioned this. So I walk out into this living room kitchen space and it's early. It's before the sun has even come up and it's dark. And I pour 2 Energizes, not just one, but 2. And I go and I sit down in whether it be my kitchen or my living room. I couldn't decide today where I wanted to sit, but I can picture it. I know exactly what it looks like. And I sit down and I sip my Energize and I read my devotion and he comes out and grabs his and we head out to our garage. And we open our garage doors and we both get our workout in. Like this is something we literally talk about. You know, maybe we do a WOD together, maybe I just do BOD and he does his workout, whatever we do, it doesn't matter. But what's important and I want is important in my vision is we are together. And as the doors are open and we're doing our workout and the sun is rising on the east over the green cornfields because it's August and it's like 70 degrees, it's like the perfect morning. It's one of those days that you can't not believe in a God because it is such a beautiful day and we just feel so blessed for this life that we had surrendered this vision to and put in a lot of freaking work between the 2 of us to get to where we were. And then we go into the house after our workout and we get our kids ready for school. Honestly, this is kind of a funny part. Originally in my vision, I was like making a homemade breakfast. And today I was like, you know what? No, they're probably still eating toaster strudels, but that's okay. Like we're not feeling super rushed into our day. Maybe he goes and showers, I get the kids ready for school, and I won't walk you through our whole day, but the remainder of our day looks like me sitting down to work uninterrupted in the morning for 3 to 4 hours, and him taking the kids to school and heading off to do his farm work, but then coming back together again, maybe for lunch or to go run an errand together or do things together. A togetherness that's on our own time, a togetherness that provides us financial freedom to do what we want and time freedom. That is huge for our family. So that's my perfect day. And now, one thing before I ask you to share, we want to hear maybe some things that you guys said. I wanted to share one more thing that I do with you guys, because that's really like, that's a lot. And I don't sit down and read that every day. So I did take that vision that I created in my head and I condensed it to something that I read every single day. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Some of you have already heard it. This was what I wrote for last year, just kind of as an example. And then as I'm reading this, I want you to think about snippets of your perfect day, because we'd love to hear just from a couple of you. You don't have to give that whole day, but just some snippets that come to your mind. So this is what I kind of condensed this into what I read every day. We are living in a newly built home. My income is X amount, and Aaron is able to farm full time. Our mornings are slow and more intentional with homemade breakfast. We are able to travel and live life on our own time and schedules. With like a teaching and farming, that's like huge. Like that doesn't exist right now. I'm active in both church and the children's schools, spreading light in all areas, opening our home to love foster babies in our future. And then I have a business side that says we are an elite Beachbody team. I work 3 to 4 hours a day with a team of my own leaders, working with the working, never losing the magic, where it all began in my challenge group. And then I have written, God build this house and go before us. So I read that every day. So that's kind of the tangible piece. I want you to take, like, I want to hear what you vision. And then I encourage you, we'll talk about vision boards and stuff, but this is a piece that's huge for me. So does anybody have a piece of their day, like before we move into this next part real quick, that you want to share?
So kind of this is, I just shared really quick, like these little parts, like that kind of Dana talked about. I know for myself, like a big part of my vision is my feel, like how I feel, which like some people probably don't care about that at all, but like I love peace and slow and like flexibility. Like I'm kind of a hippie, like that kind of makes me sound like hippie, but I want freedom. Like some mornings I do like love being going, like I just want the freedom to freaking decide what my day is going to be like. So I think for me, it's like the feeling of peace and calm, and I'm going to work a few hours, then I'm going to have the rest of my day to go to my kids' school, to do whatever, like nothing. I don't know. I think for me, it's just like I hold on to the peace, or to the feeling of peace, and like what that feels like. And like that pushes me so far forward, because there's a lot of hectic, a lot of stressful days at times. And knowing that like I could have a lot of days like peace because of this, like, is huge for me. So just unmute yourself. You can share. It can be whatever.
I mean, I can share a little bit about me. So just like maybe a little backstory on me a little bit, that's relevant to kind of where this kind of takes me. So a couple years ago, when I was a sophomore in college, I did study abroad in Athens, Greece, and that was the best experience I've ever had in my life. So like that's what brings me back to it, because I've always been a person, like I'm obsessed with traveling. If ideally I would live in Greece if I could. But like ideally for me, like my ideal day is just like sitting. I mean, this might be like the end of the day, but it's like, sitting on a rooftop bar in Athens, just like hanging out. Let's talk about some fun Greek or so fun, Brooke. But I think when I think of that in general, I think of hopefully the idea to like have like to grow this business in a way where I can like have that flexibility to travel, because that's one thing I am obsessed with in my life, and like have that income that I could like, spend like $500-600 to go to Europe and do that thing. So I think like on the business end, that's one thing I'm like hoping to hopefully like have that help me with. And hopefully, like, ideally, I would just love to, go on these like trips, even if it's with everyone or just, by myself or with, some friends, to do that. So I guess that's my, snippet of like what I thought of intensely as my perfect day.
Yes, I love that. And I guess I wanted to share that the example the girl gave that we've heard this from, hers is like, mine was an average day, because like that's what I love, is like the average day. And I love that you love travel. And that's just a great example, because the girl that did it, hers was like a weekend day and they were like barbecuing. It wasn't just like a regular day. So I love that you shared that.
So I guess I can share. It's funny that you mentioned about being a realist, because I am definitely that person in our relationship, which is ironic because I think a part of me always like kind of wants to be the dreamer, but I'm very literal. And so I've watched Brooke do this now for a long time. And then late at night, one night in a moment of weakness, jumped in. And it's so funny how when I told Ben, my husband, he was just like, okay, sounds good. Well, I'm going to buy land as soon as we can afford, like he can already walk through this whole idea of like what it looks like. And it's been enjoyable because I think it brings out a little bit of the dreamer in me too. And so I think that something I didn't anticipate, but I think I know there's a part of me that my dream day includes waking up, and if my kids are home, no matter what age they are, that I get to be home as well. I don't know if my future necessarily doesn't include the work I do, but I think that I see it being more on my time or my schedule. So waking up, and then why not dream that it's in a house that we built ourselves on land that Ben's always wished for. So I don't know what it looks like more than that, but that sounds pretty perfect.
So I just kind of wanted to mention something that has really stopped me from kind of finding my why in this vision. And I actually like to be super open. I had to work through this like with my counselor, because I was like, I want to have this big dream, but like I can't think of it. Like I literally sat with her for an hour and I was so lost. And we kind of came down to the idea that making a lot of money kind of scared me. And so if that's something that you're kind of like, oh man, I don't know, like if I have that much money, I don't know what I would do with it. If that like feeling overwhelms you, I highly encourage you to read the book. You Are a Badass at Making Money. That's what my PD is right now. And that book is being so, so helpful in like me getting comfortable with making money and like a business and having dreams and kind of getting rid of my realist views and turning into more of a dreamer. So I just don't know like if anybody else kind of shares that almost like a fear of money. Like I just always said, oh, I don't know, like if I had that much, I'd probably give half of it away. Like I didn't grow up with a lot of money or anything like that. And so I think that's kind of where it stems from. But yeah, that book has been really, really helpful in me like helping with my dream and my why.
I feel like oh, no, I just have like a lump in my throat. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love hearing people talk about things. And I've been thinking about mine, and yeah, I don't want to get too far into it because I can get to it, because I feel like mine has changed from year to year. And like it just makes me emotional. Like my first year, my goal was to stay home, and I have. Like I've been staying home this whole year, um and we have some hard days, and but I will hold her, and I just am like, I am so thankful that I've never been able to do this with any of my other little ones. Like I've always had to send them to daycare, and when she's crying and she's crappy, I just have to like, I think I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am the one holding her while she's crying. Like and it's like chills, but I also I'm going to be vulnerable and share that I went from a really good career that made a pretty good amount of money with a master's to a side hustle that I was like, I'm going to make that same amount this year. And I can go into my journey later, but I've learned this year too that money is a driving factor for me. And I didn't think it would be. And going from 2 full-time careers to 1 and then an extra little one has been one heck of a change for me too. So like I've seen my vision change to where now like next year I see myself really like even in the past couple months just buckling down. And I know like the money thing is scary and I always think I'm like I feel so selfish sharing this, but it's a driving factor and it's mine and I'm going to own it. Like I want to be able to in a year say, yes, all 3 kids can go to swim lessons and not have to bat my eye. Or yes, I want to go out to lunch with my friend and not be stressed about it. Like I want to be able to have a Christmas where I am not sitting here looking how much everything is. And obviously I still want to be mindful because I'm on this whole nother journey too of like living more minimally. Like I just don't want as many things, but the money, like I want that for experiences for my kids and my family. And I just see myself next year being able to provide that for them too, to be home, but also to be able to keep working and doing what I love and be able to provide them with all these experiences. So yeah, man, whoo, this is like, how do I go after you guys?
I was talking, but I was said, you are next, Brooke. So we're going to move to the next one. Because I'm like, oh, we're still on like the first slide. And we have slides to go. So
Getting good.
Brooke is going to talk about this.
Okay. Yes, I love this. So, well, this is like not as like, I mean, it's fun, but I feel like I'm taking a little bit of a dark turn, but it's all for the good, trust me. So this is, when we were talking about creating this call, and I've been listening to my own podcasts and stuff, so I'm not going to take credit for this one. I actually listened to a podcast with Micah Folsom, who's another coach in the network, Do Your Crap, and she had a guest come on. His name is Brad Bizjack, and I'm like chatting him up on Instagram now because everything he said, I was like, yeah. So this analogy of this castle came up and why it is so important to have a why, because this business, like talking about visions and goals and whys, like that is like the fun part. And then everyone knows, okay, and then we have the work, like how we're going to get there. And that's not the sexy part, as Brooke said. So I want you guys to, again, we're going to vision this castle. And basically what he went into saying is, you know, you have this castle, right? Big old castle. And inside the middle of the castle is a $10 bill. Okay. You're on the outside and there's a 10-foot wall. There's fire-breathing dragons, there's booby traps, there's spikes, there's a moat with alligators, like all these things that you can imagine. Like think like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter. I don't know, like this castle is protected like to the next level and there's a $10 bill inside. Would you go get it? Maybe some people, but most people would say like, heck no, I am not going through all that crap just for a $10 bill, right? Maybe if it's $1 million, who knows? But now I want you guys to picture all of the same stuff is happening in this castle, but somebody that you love is in there. It's your kids. Your kids are in the castle and you are the only person that can go get them. And when I heard that, I was just like, whoa. And if you don't have kids, maybe it's another loved one, a grandparent, a mom, an uncle, aunt, I don't know, someone that you really love. What's going to happen? You are going to fight and you are going to find a way to get into that castle to save them. You wouldn't care what is in your way and what is blocking you. So that is why it is so important to have a vision. So as fun as this is, and it's so much fun to talk about our visions, and sometimes it can get a little bit scary because we are just like, we're human, we're naturally, you know, we like to be safe. So when we start thinking big, we're like, ooh, like I can't do that. I can't make that amount of money, or I can't, you know, see myself doing that. There's no way. Like that is so natural. So we need to, own that. We know that that's going to come up, but when your why and your vision is that clear and that important to you, it's not going to matter how to get there. Like you're not going to care how you're going to get there. You are going to find a way to get to that why, to that goal. So I love that. And I think for me, it wasn't until, well, I've had quite the road and I don't remember exactly when we're going to get to that point, but I was the kind of person that leaving my job, I had a plan B this whole year. Like, I have a master's, I can go back. Like, it's super easy. Like, I could go get a job. And I know, a lot of people in schools are quitting. It's like, I can go find a job, but I didn't want to. And it wasn't until like I had a come to Jesus moment in my car, like with my why, and it was burning. And I'm like, this is what I want. It was like, okay, we're going to figure out the how and get the unsexy stuff done. So.
Love it, Brooke. And like those, like we put like those things in the middle of the castle because those are our barriers, A lot of us have experienced loss and change and isolation and looking towards 2021. None of that's probably going to change right now. Like hopefully it will. I really, really hope it does, but there's nothing showing us that it will. So like, that is why, and I see a lot of you putting like, I'm not sure what my why and vision are. And I know like at the beginning of my journey, like I didn't really have that clear, like in the back of my head, like way, way down deep. It was like, replace my teaching income. Maybe Josh could stay at home too. Like it was whispered, like those things will be revealed to you. So if you're here tonight, and I know we have a lot of brand new coaches on our team. I mean, heck, in November, we had 65 brand new coaches, which like is incredible. If you feel like I don't have this big dream that Dana has and Brooke has, and, Becca has, and Kelsey kind of shared about, like, that's okay. It will come. And just know that it's important to lean into it and to figure it out. So we're gonna go forward with finding kind of your theme. I know a lot of us just finished up this book, you can have it all, just not at the same time if there's little ears around, which was so great, offered so much good discussion. And in about the third or fourth chapter, she had us pick one word. And I think that's really, really beneficial to just kind of center yourself around this word, and all the goals and all the visions that you kind of have for this next year should flow up to that word. But I also think like you need to have like flexibility, like know what that word means to you. For example, so like look at this list. Maybe there's like, you have no idea where to start, like pick 5 to 10 and narrow it down from here. Like maybe it's not even a word on this list, but my word is growth. And to me, that means I want to still grow in every single area of life. I feel so like I'm just like hungry to learn and to grow in my relationship with Jesus, to grow in this business. I want to grow in like disciplining and motherhood and like all the things. But while growing, I still like, to me, I want to maintain what's really important, which is like, I'm a stay-at-home mom first and foremost. I want to make sure I'm like giving all my attention to my family and my kids. So I think when we think of our words, they can mean different things at different times. Like it's grown for me, it's growing, but putting boundaries on like what's really important still. So it's how to grow, but also how to keep what's important. So we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I think it'd be really cool if like narrow down that run word. Maybe if you make a Canva graphic of a vision board, put that in the middle, or put a quote in the middle, or put a verse in the middle, something that just kind of keeps you centered and reminds you of all these little goals and all these visions. So step 3 is, I mean, we're running a Beachbody business. We're coaches. So we're going to talk about what business goals you could set for 2021. And know that these, like, I know Dana, we were talking about this call, and she's like, I reevaluated kind of around, I don't remember when it was March or June. Like these can kind of change as well. But at the same time, you need to set them and you need to go after them, and you need to know why they're important. So I just put like a few down that you probably should consider going towards. So like diamond, first and foremost, is the stepping stone to everything. You know, it's the stepping stone if you're interested in the trips. It's the stepping stone for income. It's the stepping stone for having a team of ladies that are doing this with you. So like if you're not diamond yet, like that needs to be that first and foremost goal. And you need to set a date. You need to set an actual date. January 31st. So much can happen from here to January 31st. We have a huge launch on the horizon where you can rally and gather so much. Or heck, February, I was going to say 31st, there's no 31st, February, whatever, like 28th this year. Like that is going to be 2 months from now after this launch. And then there's like, I always say there's a second launch, especially in February, because there's going to be so many people who missed the boat with their goals in January. So there's like, they're going to be signing up again in February. So set some dates, 2-star diamond. That allows you to open a second business center. So, and then that allows you to have a quarterly bonus of either $700 to $1,000. That's usually the range of it, of like every quarter if you were 2-star diamond, you would get that bonus, which like is big for income. 5-star diamond. I know some of you are leaning toward like, could you and your teams are going to be able to hit, or you're going to push for 5-star diamond. That means your volume is really freaking solid. I'll be honest. Like when I hit 5-star diamond, like I was making my commissions was like, okay, commissions are great. Volume is where it's at. So like, that's where 5-star diamond was really where it was like, I can like volume. I know my volume is going to be there every week because I got builders. I got a team who was working hard and they're building with me. And like, we're creating a lot of freaking volume. And I don't have to worry about those small, even though they were big in the beginning, but those small commissions checks, you know, that eventually those small commissions checks those commission checks will seem small when you have a lot of volume in your organization. And then as a 5-star diamond, every quarter you get a bonus of about $3,000 to $5,000. That's a big deal. And then as a 5-star diamond too, that marks off one of a big goal for elite team. And then again, if you're more about like the recognition, there's that road to elite, which we touch on, which is team builder, team leader, premier elite. So that's like a great goal. If you're like, hey, I want to be a 2-star diamond elite team next year, or I want to be a 5-star diamond elite team next year. And then income, volume growth, all those things. I just want to get you thinking like this is a Beachbody business. And for myself, for my visions and my goals for 2021, they're not all around Beachbody, but a lot of it stems from Beachbody. Like a lot of my visions of finding our perfect house and dreamland is because of my Beachbody income. A lot of the trips that I will be able to take, because I love travel, is because of my Beachbody income. A lot of the things on that board that I'm going to create for our family and the things my kids get to do is because of that income. So like, even though they're not all around it, it's because of these goals that are listed right here. So I just wanted to kind of lay those out for you of what that might look like for you. And again, here are some examples of like you can see my 2020 board, like my pink was the Team Heart and Hustle. Like that's a small little part of my vision board, but it like honestly connected almost every single thing together. So I think that's what we have to realize is that coaching, it helps us create that vision and it helps us create that dream life. And I even started brainstorming tonight, which like my hands are shaking looking back at these. And I was reading them to my husband. And like after every single one I said, he's like, what? And I was like, why are you saying that? Like, stop. Like, you don't think I could do that? He's just like, I don't know. Well, like I put Superstar Diamond Team. I think we can do it. I want 30 girls at our next retreat. There were 17 at our last one. Why can't we double that? We're going to be a 3-time elite. I want to open Brooke number 3 and put her at my really weak leg that like has no volume. I want 3 elite coaches. I want 5 premier coaches. And like, I literally brainstormed this before, so I know I'm going to have more, but like get dreaming big. And also don't compare mine to yours. Like and I'm going to show you some of my goals back of when I was a brand new coach. they were big goals to me. Now I kind of look back at them, I'm like, oh, those were little. But at this, like then in that time in 2017, when I signed up a coach, like that was a big deal. One of them was Diamond, and I needed 6 more coaches. And I like wrote out a list of all the people that I should ask. And I wrote like down, I need to ask more people to be coaches and join my team. Like, don't compare where I am and where you are, or wherever anyone on your team is and where you are. Where you are matters. And you just need to start, and you just need to keep going. So that's what I want to press there. Dana's going to talk about a little she does it really beautifully, how to like reverse engineer those goals. So take it away, Dana.
Okay, I'll make this pretty brief. So, like I said, I'm a realist. I like things to make sense. And so this was actually a planner I had last year called Rise Up. I don't really use it anymore. I've taken the pieces, but if you're looking for a business-based planner, it is really good. So, anyway, she has you reverse engineer your goals so you can kind of see my example here, because I think it's super important. Like last year was the first year I did this, and I don't even know like how much my business grew, but it grew like a lot in every facet. I mean, I didn't hit some of my goals, but it just, and I for myself, I attributed a lot because I knew the actions I needed to take every month. So the example, so like you can see, I had, honestly, on my vision board, I have Elite, but I think I got scared and I put Premier down in the planner. And so I have Premier, and then like I just broke it down. I need 2 to 3 coaches a month. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. So then what did I need to do every week? I needed to connect. I need to stay engaged with my challengers, because I'm not going to get coaches if my challengers aren't getting results. And then every day I just need to be consistent on social media. Coach life, that was important. Wasn't going to get working coaches if I didn't share coach life. And so I guess that just kind of shows the breakdown for me. And in the beginning, when I used this planner, actually, I still do this. This was another thing I read every day, because if I show up to my power hour, and like right now, I haven't been doing great about that, and not know what to do, if I read this, I'd be like, oh, well, I don't have any coaches this month. And so I obviously need to go do my business activity tracker to get to these goals. And then I had my income one, and I didn't really so much look at these breakdowns. I ended up just breaking that down quarterly and kind of just knowing I needed to continue to grow each quarter. And my income did until the 3rd quarter, kind of fell a little short, but that was still really cool to see that. And then you could do like personal things too. Like I wanted to run a sprint triathlon. That was back before I had any idea that COVID was going to happen. So none of those happened, and the gyms I was going to join the gym to swim and couldn't do that. So I just think for myself, this was really important. So kind of like that car analogy, I needed the map, and this was my map to get where I wanted to go.
And to piggyback off that, like I love this, like, but there are different ways. Like if this is like, oh, I don't know if this doesn't make sense to me, that's okay. Like there are different ways to go after your goals. And like, this is kind of like what Dana did, but like how I did it. I didn't know what I was doing. So I pulled these up. These are literally from my red notebook that is falling apart. It's right here where sorry, I'm like shaking. Like it's so crappy, but like I wrote them down, and it was so powerful to me. I put I tried to make 10 I will statements every single year. And that changes things when you put I will da 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 da. Like I will da 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 da. Like it hits a little different. And make sure for these things, like include, if you have a spouse or someone, like make sure they are in on these things, because they need to know. Like they need to know what you're going after, because it's together, and then I kind of broke it down. Okay, like what do I need to do? These were all made in like December of a year. And then I broke it down. What do I need to do these first 30 days? What do I need to do these next 60 days? What do I need to do these next 90 days? Like, where should I be? So just a different way to think about it and look at it. And if you're like a vision board doesn't sound appealing to you, I really encourage you, maybe you just need to write out 10 I will statements and then put it up wherever you sit down to work every day, because looking at those just hits you a little bit differently. All right. I know we're getting a little on time, but we still have, we want to talk about just really quick, I just think when you are not going through a struggle, you don't realize, like, you don't pay attention to someone else's struggle. So what I mean by that is, like, sometimes I know I will get people telling me, or Dana or Brooke or whoever will be like, oh, well, you never faced this. I'm getting like all these coach cancellations. Like, or like, I'm getting people telling me no left and right. It's like, if you're getting like a lot for myself, like if you're getting one coach cancellations, that means I'm getting about 10. If you're getting like maybe 5 people telling you no this week, I'm getting about like 20, or like no one answering me at all. So we want to talk about this next part. These goals all come down, we kind of narrow it down to 2 things: having grit and having belief. And like, I just want you to know, like, we're not like, whatever pedestal you have myself on, or any coach on this call, or any coach in this business, whether it's Micah Folsom or Ashley Molstead or Moira, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. They are all doing the things that we are doing. And they have these 2 things: grit and belief. Those are the 2 things that are moving them forward. There's no magical thing they have. They just have those things, and they have not stopped. So for myself, like, I was a coach. I signed up at end of 2016. My first full year, like, I was all in. I was doing the stuff. I posted every day on social media. I was, into my head, I was like, I'm fully coaching and I'm doing this. And at the end of 2017, I was an Emerald coach. I had 2, maybe 3 discount coaches under me. Like, that was a huge wake-up call. But you know why? It was because I wasn't putting, like, there's that business activity tracker that we talk about. I was about skipping about like 80% of that, but I was doing the things that I thought I knew would move it forward. So like, just so you know, like, some of you might be in that position. You're looking like at your downline or your drill down. Well, I've been doing this for a year, 2 years, and I have this many coaches. I really want to challenge you. Like, are you all in? Or if you're considering going all in, like, why not? Like, what is it going to hurt? So like, when I came to 2018, it was really that crossroads of, am I going to keep like doing what I'm doing, and maybe I'll be like a Ruby coach by 2019, or I'm just going to jump all in and do the heck out of every single thing on that business activity tracker. Thankfully, I went with the latter and like did everything. I invited, I connected, I followed up like crazy. There was no magic except those things. And of course, posting every day and sharing my life, like, that's the secret sauce. Then I came to the crossroads. I just like want to show you guys things aren't easy. So then I came to the crossroads. We're in 2019. We're like a rocking team. I put out to you guys, I want to hit elite in March, and April comes and I get an email that says your account is suspended for the next 6 weeks. You will not be able to get in. You will not be able to get paid. You will like all these things. And I was like, what? Like, I just told my team we're going for elite. I just said all these scary things. I had been working my butt off for Beachbody for the last 2 years, and this is how they're going to treat me? Like, you guys, I could have so easily like walked out the door, been like, this isn't for me. Like, I don't need this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they're not going to pay me. I'm doing all this work. But it came down to belief. And by the way, like, if you're really curious about that story, it was a very misunderstanding by Beachbody. And like, I had done the right things, but got suspended anyways. They ended up lifting it at 4 weeks. But regardless, if I didn't have that grit and belief, I would have walked out that door so fast, so freaking fast. And I look at everyone on this call and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't do that. I'm so glad my vision and my why was so solid that I didn't give up, even though I wasn't getting paid. That like, I kind of felt my company turned its back on me. And like, that's what I'm showing you. Like, it's gonna get really hard, and you probably won't get suspended because I'm going to make sure you don't get suspended. But like, you're going to face those really big trials where it feels like everything is up against you, and it feels like nothing is going your way, and you're getting coach cancellations and you're getting no's. And I'm telling you, if your why is there and you lean to it and you lean into this team, it is so worth it. I mean, I look at where we are today and like, I just like, it just makes me kind of sick to think about if I would have quit, like how many people would not have been helped. Hopefully maybe they would have been helped, but you just never know. So like when the going gets tough, like just remember, believe that this will work. Lean into this team. Trust that like this life that you're working towards is so worth it. And our freaking job is to take care of ourselves. When the going gets tough, we just need to keep taking care of ourselves. That is such a beauty about this job. It's like, I think that's like, you know, you guys know that I've had 2 miscarriages this year and it's been really hard. I've had like 2 months where it's just like been hard to get off the couch, but I'm like, no, I can take care of myself. I can keep taking care of myself. I can lean into a positive community. I can lean into meaningful work. That has made a tremendous difference in getting through something really tough, but it's because I believed it could help me. It would have been so easy to be like, I'm having a miscarriage right now. I'm not going to invite anyone. I'm not going to do this coach sneak peek. It's all about me, me, me. But no, like my vision is like, there's so many women that need this, that need you guys. And yeah, I'm really hurting right now, but like, I also know there's a lot of people who are hurting a lot worse than I'm hurting. So before I like start crying and bawling my eyes out, I'm going to pass it on to Dana or Brooke. Grit and belief.
Okay, so I'll just touch on a couple because mine are really similar, but I think that's what makes it super relatable. Um, you know, I had a really similar circumstance with my business where I was kind of half in. You guys have probably all heard that story. And just like kind of that crossroad of like, if they're all going to do this, well, then I can too. So that was kind of like my first year of, okay, I don't know what other people need, kind of getting over those fears. I definitely didn't know if this was for me. And so then I went into 2019 and I kind of, again, I didn't set any goals. I just kind of did things. I hit Diamond, I think mainly because I wanted to go on the retreat to Florida that year. I mean, I kind of was in, but then after hitting Diamond and going to Florida, this was kind of my grit story that I wanted to share. So that was in a year ago in like November-ish timeframe. I really questioned if this was still for me for a lot of reasons. I lost my Diamond, first of all, and I didn't get it back for several months. Because I know there's a lot that can relate to that, or if you get to that point, just to know like that can be that way. I question like all those limiting beliefs of leadership's not for me. And I say that because I hosted team calls that nobody showed up on. I felt like I did all these things and like I had zero momentum. And so I just kept thinking like, God, like, maybe this is for me, but maybe I just need to stop pushing the business side. Maybe this is taking too much time away from my family. Maybe this isn't what he wanted me to do. Maybe he just wants me to help all the people because I'm really good at, in my past, just feeling like, we shared this when we had our Diamond retreat at Brooke's parents' house, like kind of the second string, I guess you could say. And I don't mean that like to anybody in this business, that sounded weird. I meant just like never the best, just always good enough. Or like kind of that jack of all trades, master of none. So like my jack of my trade was helping people love their health and fitness again, but leading a team was not for me. And so that was like just a year ago now that like I kind of just like really wanted to quit working the business side hard. But I had my vision and I had my why, and it had gotten really solid. And I just can't, I have to keep coming back to that because one, I'm never going to stop taking care of my health. Two, I'm always going to have something to share. So why would I not pursue the rest of it too? Like those things, for at least for us, probably were not going to happen, or not the way I pictured them if I didn't figure something out, like financially down the road. And so I just kind of leaned into this. I stopped like giving myself so many excuses. I stopped putting my eggs in all of one single basket and believed what I heard at Summit, that the people that were uniquely designed to be on my team were there. It was just a matter of me keep going out and finding them. I had to stop settling. And so, you know, we went into this year and I don't know, I'm just really proud of my team. I just kept going. They kept going. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Team Cup. So as this call tonight, I'm just like, I can't wait for Team Cup. Can't wait for Team Cup. And I know not everybody's like that, but like that February, that was when I really poured into more ladies on my team. I got out of my comfort zone. I pushed them. I believed in them before they were ready to believe in themselves. And I don't know. So just know, I guess I'm kind of rambling now, that I guess what we just want to say is that like those thoughts and those things are normal, and just getting beyond that and having that belief is just everything.
I don't want to go over on time. Do we want to go right into the activity, or what do you guys think? No, you're fine. Oh my gosh. And I could talk forever. So I'm watching my time because I got to keep it short because that's me. I could go real quick because I feel like I've been in this for 2 years, and we joked with Brooke that I wanted to quit every month. Like I literally like, I was like, nope, not doing this. Nope, nope, nope. For my first year. I loved it. I ran groups. Were they perfect? No. Oh my gosh. I just did a call on my team page because we have a virtual gym now that has 195 people. And we are currently running the best challenge group ever. I mean, like I've been blowing it up because our group is the best. It has taken me 2 freaking years, and like not just me, our whole team, but it has been 2 years of really crappy challenge groups. I'm just gonna say it, like put it out there. Like I don't even know where I'm going with this. I think it's just we are real. This is like we go through this stuff, and I read Caitlin's comment about just like getting caught in like, why am I doing this? I get caught in that too. Like sometimes like it'll just be going through the day and I'm working. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I get scared and I'm like what is this? Like this isn't the norm or what people expect of me. And that's where this vision and why is so important, because nothing matters when you have that and it's strong, but it doesn't come overnight. It's not going to be one day and it's like, aha, I have this vision. No, it takes time and work. Like personal development, you got to search for it and you got to keep putting the work in. And you know what? It might even be like pulling back and then realizing like that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And that's what happened to me over the past 2 years. Every single time I pulled back, something would suck me right in. And gosh, I've lost my 1-star diamond in the middle of qualifications. I lost my 2-star diamond right in the middle of qualifications. And I'm going to focus on that one because a lot of other things have happened, but that one was big because I was in 2-star qualification. And I mentioned it earlier in this call, money is a big thing for me because I went from a big girl job to working a side hustle, and I did not have that mentality. I did the same thing. I posted on social media. I ran groups, like half-assed them. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. And I was expecting this big paycheck because I was diamond. Like it's taken me 2 years to learn and having this baby. And when I finally got to it and I poured my heart and soul into this business over the summer, because I started reading that book, You Can Have It All, in June, because every time I would go back and look at an application for social work, it would make me sick. I would just have this feeling in my stomach. I had people offer me jobs and say, oh, we can get you into a job real quick for quick money. And it would make me sick. And I was like, I do not want to go back to that. This is my only other option. And until it became my plan A, that's when things really have started to happen in just these couple months. And even then, so yeah, backtracking because I'm going over, I dropped my 2-star, I cried, I bawled, and the next day she was born. It was like crazy. And I took a whole month of doing nothing. And then it was finally like after all of these things that had happened over 2 years and wanting to quit multiple times and almost going back to my job, it just like, for me, I had to add it up. Kind of like I have a big weight loss journey and I had to like add it up myself. Like if I keep eating cake, I'm going to feel like crap. It took me like 1,000 times. And that was the same thing with this Beachbody and being a coach. I said, this makes me feel good. That doesn't. I need to make this my thing and go all in. And even then, like I said, I still have my days where I'm like, oh, I could just nap. And then it's like, nope, because I know my pain of going back into social work. I don't want to deal with that pain. I'd rather deal with the pain of being a little tired now so I can live my dream later. And I know Dana hit on that a little bit too, and Brooke, like the pain points and knowing like sometimes it does come down to that, you know, what's the alternative?
and maybe starting with your pain points. What is something you're not very satisfied with right now? And maybe it's going there and seeing like, how can this serve you and, help you? Because and humans, I'm joking. Humans want to avoid pain more than they want to seek pleasure. Crazy as it is, like we will do anything in the world to avoid pain, like that castle, until there's something on the other side that we love so much that we would do anything for it. So that's my little story. Sorry, I went over.
No, we could listen to it all night. And I honestly, like, we just wanted to leave time, which will probably just end it. We just wanted to leave time, like, for you guys to start, like, dreaming and writing down things and maybe putting, like, a graphic together. So we'll probably end this call, but this is what am I encouraging you to do. Either one of the two things, or heck, if you want to do both. I probably will do both because it just like helps me. I'm a very visual person, and those I will statements have really just helped me through the years. So I want to continue those. Like, and I can upload these to the team page. Like, I will and I like whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be business. I would encourage you to have some business. And then for your vision board planning, I've always just done mine. I think on Canva, it's just so easy and slick. Putting those pictures on it really makes that emotional attachment to it. So make sure like find pictures that will make you feel something. And this is the application that we want to have tonight. We love right now if everyone just took a moment to put a cute goal in the comment section. And like, it doesn't have to be Beachbody. It could be family. It could be hobbies. It could be finances. It could be your current work job, like applying for a new job. Something that just really makes you like, do I really have to say that? Over the next week, we would love for you to finish, like actually do those statements or make a vision board, and we're going to create a team album page for it. And then we want you to print it off. This is something I'm so bad at, like, but actually print it off and put it up wherever you work or wherever you like will be motivated and see it every day. Share to the team photo album. We want you to find other teammates that have similar goals. Like, yes, your coach will maybe help you pair up with other people, but like, remember, you're your own CEO. You can post in the team page like, hey, anyone shooting for diamond right now? Anyone going for 2-star? Like, let's go together. That's the thing about this. Is like, we are all, look at this group. I should stop sharing this page so we can all just see each other. Like, we have each other. And I think that's the biggest difference between anything going on right now is like, we have, like, you're not alone. You're not doing, look at the support. Like, that is so freaking incredible. We can come together and in a split second, start talking about our goals and our dreams and our visions. And like, none of us are rolling our eyes at each other. We're all just here like, yes, go girl. You can do it. We'll help you through the hard days. We'll help you through the sad days. You have the support system to do it. So lean into it. So, okay, what is coming in right now? Ooh, some big ones.
I love it. And I know we mentioned this before too, because I know for me, it's easy to look at other people's goals and to peek and be like, ooh, could I do that? Ooh, could I do that? Like, think about you. Like, what's big to Brooke or Dana or Caitlin or Kelsey, because I see all your faces. Like, it's okay to look for inspiration, but don't feel forced if that's not what you're feeling. You want to push yourself enough, but we don't need to have the same goals. Like I put in the comments earlier on, one of my goals last year was to pay for my girls' dance class. And it's still a goal. Like, and it's $200 a month. Like, I just have to put that in there too, because I was going to say it earlier and I kind of went to another land with my brain and forgot. So I love seeing these coming in. Oh, shine bright like a diamond.
Oh, I love it. We'll get the photo album started. We had one last year. If you want to even go look at that one and get like some inspiration. But I encourage you to do it. The more you speak it, the more you share it and put it out there just in our team page, like way more possibility that it's going to come true. Rather you just whisper it to yourself like, oh, I kind of want to be diamond maybe by the end of 2021. Like, that's not going to happen. So speak it, put it out there, and we're going to make it happen together. So Brooke, Dana,
I
any
just want to say one thing.
go for it.
So I put in there that I want to move back home to Iowa, and yesterday I applied to 2 jobs in Iowa. So hopefully it happens.
That's so exciting. Yay. Where are you looking at? Just curious.
So both of them are actually in Coralville. And then I'm looking at houses in North Liberty and Tiffin. Because Mitch would have to work in Cedar Rapids for Sam's Club.
North Liberty is where it's at. Just saying. That's really exciting. Yay. Dana or Brooke, do you guys have any final thoughts?
I don't think I do. I just think doing it, and then I think a huge thing is looking at it. So don't just do it. Like, keep coming back to it. Keep reading those statements. Keep looking at your vision board. Because like I said, it'll, when you don't want to show up on those days, if you look at that, it'll keep you there. I'm just excited to see everybody's. I'm surprised by how much mine changed, but then how much it stayed the same. It was just so interesting to go from year to year. So I think this year has changed people's priorities. So I think that's what kind of changed mine a little bit.
Totally. And don't like, what we were gonna do was play some music, like pump up music. So like whatever song really sparks you to dream big, when you sit down to do this, like play that music, at least for myself. Like I'm just an emotional girl that way. So don't be afraid to be cheesy like that and crank up some music. But, all right, we're gonna do a team boomerang because like we've never done that at the end of a call where I'm always just like taking pictures. So anyone have any good ideas of what we should do?
No.
I don't know. Raise the roof into 2021.
Yes.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, cool. Okay, now I gotta tag you all. So. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I will get this posted in the team page probably by tomorrow. So make it a good night. Thanks for joining us. See ya.
Thank you.